Alright, I'm gonna put a proximity prompt so I could interact with it. Put this in a model real quick. You want to name the model what the weapon is. So for example, bow and arrow. I'm gonna put a proximity prompt in here. Proximity prompt. Did they change the idea of the proximity prompt? That's pretty cool. Okay, the proximity prompt's there. And then we're gonna need a string value. I'm gonna call this type, and that type is gonna be weapon. Oh wait, no, this is the arrow, so the type would be ammo, I guess. Duplicate this, put that in the bow, and call this weapon because it's a bow. Okay, great. Let me see if the proximity pops up. Oh, okay. I have to put the proximity prompt in the mesh part itself. It won't work with the model. Okay, there we go. Nice. Okay, so to start off with the script, I'm gonna go into service and make a new script called manager, and then okay, I'm gonna delete that, clear that real quick. There we go. Well, with our manager script, we're gonna access our players. Let me call this P, so I don't have to write anything long. And get service players. We're gonna access our prompt service. Let me rename this to players. And then we're gonna access a future module that we're gonna put under our manager script called prompt manager. And then what this does is it's like doing this but in one line. So game get service, proximity prompt service as our first one, and for our second one we're gonna do require, since it's a module script, script dot. Okay, real quick, I'm gonna add a module script. Okay, I'll just call it prompt because that's shorter. Prompt. So require script.prompt. Now we're gonna access our other module script that we're gonna create in a second. Module script. Call this init. Require script.init. Okay, so we're gonna do this players added player thing. Okay, so players dot player added connect. I have a function up here, player added P as in our player, because we're gonna send the player arguments automatically from this right here. So player added. Okay. Delete that. Okay, so gonna do, okay, actually, yeah, okay. For every player index, you don't really have to know what this means. It's basically just another way of doing a in pairs look. Oop. We're gonna spawn function player added. This tutorial might have another part to it, like for actually showing up in a GUI or something. You'll probably see at the end. Okay, so spawn function player added. Put in our p argument, those are here to there. Okay, we're gonna get started with our init module. This is gonna be pretty short module. Okay, so we're gonna do function module dot create. Oh my god. Create player argument for main is equal to instance dot new folder. Alright, we're gonna put our parent and our name is equal. The parent is gonna be our player and the name is gonna be called main. Cool. As for our slots, you can do however you want to add your slots. What I'm gonna do is create 4 slots, so 1, 2, 4. Probably do local slots. It's equal to 4 slots. Do local slot is equal to instance dot new string value slot dot parent and slot dot name. Like before, we're gonna do parent is gonna be main, and as for our name, we're gonna do toString, which will convert a number into a string. Slots space concatenate it with I, so it would go up from 1 to 4. So back into our manager, we're gonna do init dot create and then our player argument. See if this works. Okay, we should have a folder in our players called main and then 4 slots. Nice. Okay. We're gonna work on our prompt stuff. So back in our main script, we're gonna do coroutine.resume coroutine.create. This is a shorter version of creating and resuming a coroutine. So we're gonna just enter that. Okay, this part is gonna be pretty tedious, so prompt service prompt triggered connect, and we're just gonna leave that like that real quick because we're gonna fill it in with our prompt manager module. Okay, we're just gonna copy this and paste it 2 times. 2. Delete this space between it. Okay, in our prompt script, what we're gonna another module script. We're gonna call this types. Okay, I could delete this top because we're just types. So we're gonna have a type weapon, type ammo, and you could add more types like consumable, other stuff like that. Alright, okay, so back in our prompt manager, we're gonna do local types, like we're gonna reference our types module. Require script.parent.types. Alright, we're gonna have our last module script to be the key of it all, the slot system. So back in our prompt module, we're gonna reference that slot system. Slot mod is equal to require parent.slots. Okay, local function. We're gonna do action. We're gonna have our player, our model, a value, and a table. I'm gonna leave that there. Okay, we're gonna have a prompt triggered function here. Prompt triggered obj and then comma p, so the object that we triggered, and then the player who triggered it. Okay, so we're gonna reference the model. Okay, our model is gonna be equal to our obj.parent. Our obj is essentially the prompt, so it'll be this dot parent, a parent, so it'd be the model. Okay, our type is gonna be equal to capital T, I guess. It's equal to model find first child type. I'm gonna have this on the cursive. So if T is there, so if the type is there, we can do action, and then we can pass to our player our model, right? Yeah. And value. And then we're gonna reference the types, like our types module. I need to create my value. So local val is equal to, hold up, yeah. Okay, let's put that in here. Local val is equal to t dot value. Okay. We're gonna fill in our action. Our actions are pretty short script. We're just gonna loop through our table and then do a check. So for underscore t and next dot 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 do. Oh wait, it's already a table, so we don't really need that. Okay, then we're gonna check if t, so if any one of these types is equal to val, so if the types is equal to the type in the weapon or whatever, we continue with our slot mod. Gonna comment that out. So let's handle P and M. Okay, in our slots module, I'm gonna just keep that module. Okay, we're gonna do local available slots to a table. Then we're gonna have a count called t, set that to 0. We're gonna create a function module dot handle, capital handle. Doesn't really need capital. You could call it whatever you want. And the PMM. Okay, since we have that established, we could go back to prompt, uncomment this, change the H to handle, to capital H, change that to mod. Alright, let me take away the stuff that I don't need. Okay, we're gonna do local inventory, or actually, let's do local main. It's equal to player dot main. Local slots is equal to main get children. Yeah, so let's keep in mind you should probably keep the slots in a separate folder away from everything else. So local name, let's just call it n, is equal to model dot name. So we're gonna do a for loop. We're gonna iterate through every slot, check if it's empty. So for underscore, since we're not using the I, object in next slots do object dot value. So if the slots value, let's call it slot to be less confusing. So if the slot value is empty, then it's empty, then we do available slots I. So every time it loops through slots, I will increase by 1. So it'll be 4 since we have 4 slots. And we'll just call this anything, I guess. Let's call it slot, I guess. Oh, I. Yeah, we do need I actually. Oops. I could be whatever you put it to be, so do the same thing. Okay, that's good. We're gonna increase t by 1, so t is plus and equals 1. That's the same as t equals t plus 1, but shorter. So if number of available slots is less than, less than 1, then t equals 0. We're gonna set that back to 0. Then we're gonna return warn name, concatenate it with has no more space. So if number of available slots is less than 1, you want to tell the player that they have no more space. Okay, then we're gonna do main slots, because that's what we called our slot. Concatenate it with toString t. So main, it's gonna find our slot. How do I explain this? Okay, so in our main folder, it's gonna find the slot with the toString of t, if that makes sense. So like we converted t to a string here, since our slots value is a string and not a number. Value is equal to n. So if the slot's value is equal to the model's name, which is probably not the best way to do it, but for our use case, I guess it is. We're gonna do available slots t equals nil, so every time t increases by 1, it takes away an available slot in available slots. And we're gonna do m destroy, or you could tween it, whatever. It doesn't really matter as long as it's gone and not there to pick up anymore. So that should work, or not. Okay, it's passive value is not a function. Oh, we did not set that up. Okay, we're gonna do prompt manager dot triggered. Leave that like that, and we could delete these two because we aren't using them. Alright, that should work. So if we open up our main 1, 2, 3, 4, we should be able to pick up these two items, and bam, they're in our inventory. You know, actually, let me increase the duration of this proximity prompt. Let's do 1.5 seconds. So you could actually see it happening. Okay, there we go. Second slot. Alright, they're both full. There we go. In part 2, I will have a GUI, like a hotbar on the bottom, to keep track of the items in our inventory. It will like replace the hotbar's picture with the items picture. Yeah.